And this story, a hotel migrant who fled to Britain after sexually assaulting a schoolgirl in Germany is fighting deportation on human rights grounds while facing the threat of imprisonment in Germany. The migrant crossed the Channel by boat. Let's speak to Maria Bowtell, Pink Lady and spokeswoman for Restore Britain. Maria, nice to speak again. How are you doing?
I'm really well, thank you very much. How are you, Ian?
I'm good, thank you. This is one of those stories. The headline I just read out there, I mean, quite literally encapsulates in every word and sentence the problem we are dealing with.
Yeah.
Literally right there. I mean, there it is. If you like, the Premier League example of the problem.
Well, it just makes us look like fools. It almost feels a bit like a sick joke. If you look and read the actual story as well, he's got driving without a licence,
Yep.
His involvement with drugs. His wife, I think it says they got married in Nigeria in part of one of the articles I've read. So this man has travelled around the world, committed a crime in Germany where he was granted asylum, and then he's run away here and claiming his human rights are at risk. Well, sending him back to Germany to face the judgment that's already been placed on him is not against his human rights. If anything, it's the rights of these victims to make sure he faces justice. And as for his wife and I think pregnant or child, they can go with him. And
Yes.
they're entitled to benefits in Germany.
She shouldn't be here either. Neither should the kid. But no politician will ever. You know, we're never going to hear Keir Starmer stand up and say, "I just read this story. It's absolutely bloody outrageous. No one in this family is meant to be in this country. They will be returned by 6 p.m. this evening." We never hear that, but that's what we need to hear.
It is. Well, it just takes a bit of a backbone and common sense. I know I heard a previous caller was talking about how Nigel's going to solve everything, but I agree with you, Ian. They need a concrete plan, a step-by-step to Jane and John. This is how we're going to do it. And I'm not seeing that from Reform at all. And I think any government that wants to be, or any parliamentarian who wants to be the PM needs to have more backbone at this point and say, this is how I'm going to do it, and there will be a straight line in the sand and a very deep one.
Yeah.
These people don't belong here.
And again, the problem with this story is that this is likely to be, you know, we could be sitting here in a year's time, Maria, and the lawyers are still arguing this case.
At our expense as well. So these lawyers will be paid by taxpayers' funded money while they live in a hotel which is funded by taxpayers, where they may have more children funded by taxpayers. They'll be fed and watered by taxpayers. There is absolutely no justification when the population has repeatedly voted against high immigration, let alone illegal immigration being a problem. They don't want it. And they're saying, no, we don't want to pay for this with our tax money. And the government continuously are allowing people to absolutely take the Michael of our system and our generosity. And people are getting very impatient with the government over it. And when stories like this come out, it just makes people angrier. And then they blame people for getting angry. Or actually, maybe you should start solving some of the problems because it's just farcical.
Correct. And of course, just for clarity, it's not just about people who come across a boat on a channel. Some arrive on an aeroplane. In fact, there's an American asylum seeker who's living in this country, who's living off the welfare system. He's fled Las Vegas. His claim has been rejected. He came over here claiming that he was being discriminated against for being black, Jewish and Mormon. I don't know how you can be Jewish and Mormon, but that's another story. I can't imagine that anybody could really tick all of those boxes of discrimination with any level of authenticity. But that was his case. That's what he said. He's now housed in this country. He's getting 400 quid a month, or was getting until recently. He's applied for asylum in the UK because he says he was born in Islington, but he's not seen as an automatic British citizen. Again, what is this bozo doing here?
Well, I just think this guy has seen how we treat people who come up and think, well, I'm facing homelessness perhaps in America. It doesn't look very good. It looks a bit grim at the moment. I'm going to take my chances in the UK because everyone online is saying I get a free hotel and some money.
Yeah.
And so he's come over here and he's saying whatever he thinks he needs to say, which is funny because black, Jewish and Mormon, even though I agree with you, that highlights that he might be a liar, potentially.
Yes.
But
I think he's probably
things.
yeah, he's probably black, because he can't really deny that. But I doubt whether he's Jewish and Mormon.
But all of those things are protected in America. There's no discrimination in the law against him for those things. So his asylum claim was denounced, if you like. He's not allowed to appeal it. Great. I think they offered him 1,500 quid to get on a plane, and it never happened. Or Heathrow said he wasn't fit to fly. So we're funding this. And also, I think at one point when he was homeless on the street in front of McDonald's, Islington Council told him he doesn't have to go. And even he has said, I will go back to America to visit. I'm happy to go back to America. But the voluntary pathway doesn't seem to work. So it seems like there's people actively within our country who are wanting to keep him here. That are saying, no, it's okay, we'll look after you, you don't have to go, is the impression I'm getting from this story. Because for all accounts, it seems like he's been denied, he's realised the gig's up, he's decided to go home, and now he can't even get home. And now he potentially is going to suffer from, like, slavery within this country because he can't get a job because he's had his asylum seeker denied.
Absolutely.
So he's at more risk here than if he just got on a plane back to America.
You see, it's all part of the wonderful upside-down Alice in Wonderland world we are living in. Maria, thank you again. Great to see you. That's Maria Bowtell, who's one of the Pink Ladies' spokeswoman for Restore Britain.